Ladies and gentlemen, please have your attention. Thank you very much. Can you please give a warm welcome to the bride's father? Thank you very much.
I have to stand. Thank you for coming. Okay, good evening to everybody, ladies and gentlemen, and I come here to say a couple of speeches to say about my daughter. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a good evening to everyone. And first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Wilfred, and the father of the bride, and I'm very pleased to see each and every one of you here. I'm taking this opportunity to stand in front of you a few minutes to talk about my daughter. What can I say about Jacqueline? She was the firstborn of my 4 children. She's a very special daughter, always concerned about the others. She's altruist, she's self-giving, generous, kind, diplomatic, wonderful, lovely, adorable. Good sense of humor that any father and mother would be proud of. Well, she came to London for a transfer from Brussels to pursue her career, without expecting that she would meet the man of her life, Simon, to become a partner for life, to share one another for good and in the future to come. In Jacqueline's professional life, she always had an initiative for challenges, to projected plans, something worth struggling for. To reach, of course, the positive results, she loved to speak several languages, not only to her professional career, but also to communicate with friends and colleagues. But she loved as well to speak these languages, how they are being spoken in that part of the world. Of course, including my language as well. She tried to learn my language, so and she knows, she could understand my language in the other side of the planet, somewhere there in the Far East. Well, finally, it's my pleasure to see and meet everyone coming to attend this occasion. To all invited guests in the UK, friends and relatives coming from abroad. I wish you all a pleasant evening, and thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome the groom? Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a true international audience today. English, of course, Portuguese, Filipino, French, Spanish, German, South African, amongst others. There's another one, I think. That's generally the way when there's a gathering of Jacqueline's friends and family. So we'd like to thank you all very much for joining us today to celebrate our marriage, and thank you also for your cards and fabulous gifts. In all honesty, I am a little nervous about doing this, as I've not done much public speaking in the past, as you're about to realise. But I feel a bit comforted by the fact that I rehearsed my jokes in front of a lovely group at the local old people's home. I think it went well. They completely piss themselves anyway. Now, you've probably heard that a good speech has a good beginning and a good ending, but a great one keeps those two close together. But if I do ramble on, there are 2 emergency exits. But just remember, no pushing or shoving as you make your escape. Unfortunately, there are a few people that can't be with us today. I know there are some on Jacqueline's side. One of my friends emigrated to New Zealand and he couldn't make it. I tried to negotiate a live video link to New Zealand with BT on the basis that they should pay for it out of all the profits they've made from the phone calls between Jacqueline and her family in Portugal. Now, at this point, I just want to thank any QPR or Fulham fans that are still here for resisting the temptation, as is usual on a Saturday afternoon, to get up and walk out at 4:30. Now, there's an old Jewish saying that the best thing about marriage is that you're never alone. And the worst thing about marriage is that you're never alone. I can honestly say that for me, I don't think the second of those will apply, as I'm lucky enough to be getting married, or have got married, to the woman I love and who I also consider to be my best friend and soulmate. We've had quite a few stretches apart already, living and working abroad, travelling and so on, which is tough sometimes, so it's great to be getting married, which will hopefully put an end to any more long-distance Skyping. So, Jacqueline, I want to thank you for agreeing to marry me. You are beautiful, intelligent, kind and caring, and I really do appreciate you writing this speech for me. I do feel incredibly proud and lucky to call you my wife. I love you very much and look forward to spending the rest of our lives together. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding as I would like to propose a toast to my wife, Jacqueline is a real perfectionist, which can be a good thing, like when she's choosing a husband. And what some of you probably don't know is that she's very knowledgeable about wine, and she actually chose the wine that you're drinking now. She once told me that men are like wine. As we start out as grapes, and it's a woman's job to stamp on us and keep us in the dark until we mature into something they'd like to have dinner with. Now, of course, I haven't just gained a wife today, but also an extended family, and I'd like to thank them for their kindness that they've shown me when I visited them in Portugal. I'd also like to thank her father for keeping a relatively straight face when he heard I proposed to Jacqueline. And I've always chosen to assume that those were tears of joy when she heard the news. Anyway, I've known Jacqueline for 6 years. As you've heard, she's fluent in a number of languages. And in that time, I think that that's probably long enough to learn to speak Portuguese. I thought I'd surprise my new parents-in-law and Jacqueline with the following speech. Wait till you've heard me say. Eu espero que você esteja muito orgulhoso de mim agora eu aprendi a falar fluentemente português. And for you non-Portuguese here, I hope you are very proud of me now I have learned to speak fluent Portuguese. Now, I don't know if this is a Portuguese custom, but Jacqueline's father has written out a receipt which he gave me earlier today. It says, receipt. Received, one daughter in perfect condition. Lifetime guarantee. Needs coffee to get started in the morning. But even then, it's still quite stubborn. Can be noisy, suggest earplugs if it gets really bad. Not to be outdone, my dad has given a receipt to Jacqueline, which reads, received, one son, sold as seen, no refunds under any circumstances. We've changed the lock, so you're stuck with him. Dehydrates easily, top up regularly with beer. I'd also like to thank my parents for their support and guidance through the years. My dad has instilled in me an interest in stamps, which I'll try to share with you today. Some of you may have read the cards on the table. I was quite surprised that Jacqueline gave me free rein with the stamp thing. So I hope you've enjoyed your table stamp story. I'd also like to thank the excellent flower girls and page boy, and also the ushers, my brother John and my new brother-in-law David. I like to think of ushers as a kind of B-day. No one really knows what they do, but they add a touch of class. I could stand here and continue to tell a load of terrible old jokes, but I think I'll instead leave that to the best man, my brother Andy. Many of you won't know that Andy actually lives in a parallel universe, and that causes him to invent fantasy stories. He really does believe these stories to be true, so I thank you in advance for humouring him during the speech. Also, as you may know, there is a tradition at weddings that the groom should always look more handsome than the best man. So on that note, I'd like to thank Andy for making such a magnificent effort to uphold that tradition. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please welcome the bride? Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, my dearest family, my dearest friends, what can I say? I just feel so happy to see you all here, all these months of work, and see all around to share such a special day. Ian Simon don't have words to express how happy we are today. Some of you have come from very far away, as far as Australia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, the United States, and closer to England, a big delegation from Belgium, my family from Portugal, and not forgetting Austria indeed. Some of you have done, made a lot of effort to prepare for this wedding. I've heard stories yesterday that somebody had her hair done in Singapore. I must say it looks amazing. It was a little far away, but nevertheless, it looks great. I would like to thank you. Thank the flower girls and page boy. You were really amazing, and I'm so happy to have you as my flower girl, my page boy. I'd like to thank, of course, and our best man, Natalie, my maid of honor, and the ushers, of course, my brother David and my new brother John. To be very honest with you, I didn't really have much of a speech. I just really wanted to thank you. E agora, em português, Queria agradecer a todos vocês a vossa presença aqui hoje. É uma imensa satisfação, uma imensa alegria de ver-vos aqui. Queria agradecer também às minhas amigas Solange e Magda pela magnífica organização da despedida solteira. Just thanking my friends Magda and Solange for the amazing hand party. Which I'm not honoured to describe here right now. E agora, para a delegação portuguesa, vocês têm de mostrar como é que se faz a festa em Portugal, está bem? So, just for the non-Portuguese speakers, you'll see how parties are in Portugal. Now, last but not least, sa aking mahal na manggata tiyuhin tiyakin na pinsa. Nagkakasaya ko po na nakarating na nakisaya kayo sa aking kasal. Isa pong malaking karangalan. Pasensya na sa aking Pilipino. Pangako ko pong pagpusayin pa ang aking kaalaman sa wika natin. Sana po kayo'y nag-enjoy katulad namin. Maraming salamat po. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the best man. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. First of all, just want to say what an honour it is to be here as best man at the wedding today. And I want to just dedicate the first part of my speech to my wife, who was really ill this morning and last night, and so was unable to make it. But what I wanted to convey to you all was that last night my 3 daughters and my wife Skeena had a bit of a dress rehearsal, and my wife looked so phenomenal. She looked absolutely amazing, and it's a travesty for me that you're not able to share that vision that I had last night. So I just really wanted to say that. This is being videoed, isn't it? My family have been so excited about this wedding, probably none more so than my little Miriam, my 4-year-old, who's been a flower girl. All week she's been talking to me about Jackie's wedding. She struggled to remember the name of the person that Jackie's married. So I'm probably going to need to go through that family tree with her again. I want to say a few words about Simon. Really, I've just got so much admiration for what he's done, not just today getting married, but over the course of the last year or so. He's taken a career break. He decided that he needed to see a bit more of the world, and he's allowed us to see a bit more of the world through his traveller blog type things. So I'm sure, hopefully you will be able to see that as well. But one thing I will say about Simon is I've always felt he's had kind of fairly questionable taste, really. I mean, what can you say about a man who supports Huddersfield Town, for example? And what can you say about a man who's driven a Citroen 2CV, was it possibly the ugliest car of all time? Simon, in his mid-20s, bought brand new a Nissan Sunny. While a very reliable car, he's in his mid-20s, hardly a babe magnet, was it? But probably that's a good thing. Given where we are now. I would really like to congratulate Simon and Jackie for this venue. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm so impressed. And also for the date of their wedding. I mean, I really did not want to see the finale of the Six Nations at all. And also, the church. Church was really spacious. And I mean, we all fit in, no problem. This morning, you may not know this, but the organ wasn't actually working. It wasn't. And And I saw when the priest went to tell Simon, Simon's, I could see what was going on. He was thinking partial refund. That was what was going on. And I don't know, when they actually got it working, I kind of got a hint of disappointment. So I'd like to commend everybody who was involved in the church proceedings this morning. I know we've spoken about the flower girls and page boy, and you know they were amazing. The ushers, well, that was the most phenomenal bit of ushering I think I've ever seen. John, I don't know, I've heard it's recommended that you hand out the prayer books before the service starts. I don't know. Maybe there's a difference of opinion. And, you know, I also want to say what lovely readings we had from my sister Debbie and from Jackie's brother David. They were really moving. Personally, I was extremely grateful for the translations. Because Debbie, I couldn't understand what that's not true. I did understand it. And I'd really just like to say thank you to Jacqueline for marrying my brother. He's my older brother, and let's face it, I'm no spring chicken. But, you know, as far as my family's been concerned, we never had one doubt, not for 1 minute, that Simon would settle down and get married one day. So, to round this off, I'd like to share a very sweet story from A.A. Milne's Winnie the Pooh, one of Miriam's favourites, and actually one of mine, to be honest. Piglet asks, how do you spell love? And Pooh's reply is perfect. You don't spell it, you feel it. Love is a language spoken by everyone, but understood only by the heart. It is a song that never ends. It is not about finding a person you can live with. It is about finding the person you can't live without. It is an honour for me to state that my friend, my brother, has now found that person. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you to all be upstanding once more and to raise your glasses and join me in a toast. Simon and Jacqueline.
Ladies and gentlemen, that now ends the speeches. We are now going to come around with tea and coffee. Thank you very much.
Martin, can I have one?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, sit down, everyone. Sorry, because the bride is not really used to talk. And to be honest with you, as I just said, I didn't really have a speech prepared. And I forgot the most important person here, that is Simon. I've been thanking everybody, but I forgot. I'm sorry. And this is the first time I say sorry to my husband.
You're usually late.
So, there's a couple of things you should know about Simon. Simon is not, how could I put it, a normal guy going for any girl. So he would use shut-up lines that probably nobody would use. He has seduction techniques unheard of. So I met Simon 6 years ago on the 14th of March of 2009 in a bar in London. And I saw this guy, so, oh, nice guy. He said, after the usual introductions, where are you from, how long have you been in England, and then he tells me, oh, I really admire people that work abroad. And I told him, look, why don't you do the same? And I say, pause. Well, I don't think something must be really wrong. He cannot leave the country. There's something. Well, I normally don't tell this to people. What could that be? I have 2 cats. and this is the way our story started. And I'm very lucky, and I feel very blessed to have Simon as my husband. I can say his name now, husband. And thank you for being the most loving, caring person I've ever known, and I ever will. So thank you, Simon.